Welcome to the Heart of the Matter podcast. I'm Junon.
I'm Susan Billings, and we're here today with
Dr. Lisel.
Yay, so Doctor's in the house. We're super excited to talk to you because you came to the group and you had rave reviews. We had multiple people around the table say, I went to her, amazing.
Plus the energy, just meeting you, that energy that you bring. Is,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Especially this is not my first networking group, but it is my first networking group that I actually want to go to. I have it on my Friday calendar and I look forward to it.
Good. Awesome. That's so good.
Great. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
Definitely. Okay, I'm born and raised in San Diego. I remember when they built the 56 and suddenly it was like, hey, the beach is 10 minutes away now. So I was there for that. I went to chiropractic school in LA. I was there for 10 years.
Wow.
Being in LA, you think, oh, all of Southern California is similar. No, it's a totally different animal. And when you come back to San Diego, it's a different community. And there has to be a different empathy, a different type of care, a different type of connection you have with people, because people are here to build a family. They're here to build their business. They want to connect with somebody that they actually want to support. This is
interesting.
Definitely. There's people who specifically seek out small business, specifically seek out female entrepreneurs, and they want to support you. It's like, how do I grow this community?
I love that. That is such a great way to say how San Diego functions, and we do. Where it's building that community, and they're wanting to support that.
It's very unique.
Yeah, it is unique.
Yes.
So, what do you specialize in? What do you tell us about, for people that don't understand chiropractic work, when they come into your office and they're desperate, you're saying what do you do?
Definitely. Okay, thank you for asking, because there are a million different kinds of chiropractors. Even in my building alone, there's another chiropractor in the same building, but we do totally different things. So my specialty is helping young, healthy people actually feel young and healthy. You know, everybody has gone to a medical
I'm out.
We're saying
I'm
there's
not young.
a chance.
There's a chance. Your body is self-healing. So when you go to an emergency room, when you go to your family medical doctor that you've been going to for years, and they look at your scores and they look at your x-rays and they say, you're fine. And you say, I don't feel fine. There's something going on. There could be some kind of spinal cord tension, some kind of nervous system overstimulation, that medication isn't right for everybody, or surgery isn't right for everybody. Like maybe you just need to get your nervous system checked by a chiropractor.
Right.
Maybe something more holistic, more natural that you can sustain is better for you and for your family versus, sometimes medications, they get overprescribed, or sometimes you get kind of swept under the rug when you go to different types of practitioners. It's like there is a self-healing aspect to your body, and as long as your nervous system is operating properly, your body should be able to heal. And it shouldn't be, it doesn't have to be a lifelong painful thing, or it doesn't have to be, oh, I injured myself, I'm never going to play golf again, or whatever. It's like, you can actually get better.
Or take medication for it. What kind of drove you to that kind of mindset?
Good question. So my mom was a nurse. She worked at the VA for like 40 years, and I just remember taking medication for every runny nose, every headache. We had a medication for that. I mean, she used to even just give me a flu shot standing there in the kitchen. And when I was in college, I went to undergrad in Idaho. And moving from San Diego to Idaho was a huge difference. It made it challenged me mentally. I wasn't super happy in Idaho. So I was a tennis player in Idaho, and I had to perform to keep my tennis scholarship. So I went to the Student Health Center, and they asked me a 10 question list, and they were like, okay, based on your score, you have anxiety and depression.
Wow.
I was like, okay, so I guess I should be taking these medications, right? And I took an antidepressant when I was probably 19 years old. The next day, I had a seizure. I had a seizure in the middle of math class, and they rushed me off to the ER, and they said, we don't know why you had the seizure. Your scans are all looking just fine, even though 15 minutes before I had a seizure. And I remember...
They probably just prescribed you more medication, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The next day, I went back to the Student Health Center, because, these things were free coverage The medication was free. He was like, "Oh, okay, maybe we should try a different antidepressant." So I was on that antidepressant for 4 years.
Wow.
And not until I moved back to San Diego, thank God, and I met a chiropractor who was like, I think you may have spinal cord tension. You may have an issue with your neck that's pulling on your spinal cord, that's putting your body in this fight or flight. And you think you have to run from a bear. You think you have to be prepared for something scary, but you're just sitting at your computer or you're just trying to fall asleep. It's like, why is your nervous system so stimulated? It could be coming from your neck. It could be coming from your spine.
That makes sense. Wow.
That is an incredible story.
Thank you.
So that was when the light switch flipped for you, where you said, I'm going to go into this.
Exactly.
This is what I want to do.
I have to share this with people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. So don't you feel like it's a new, not want to say it's a buzzword, but I hear a lot of people talking about their nervous system now. And I love it because I think people are aware that, oh, something's off and I'm paying attention to it. But I don't feel like people are educated fully with what that means. So do you see that more, that people are starting to speak of their nervous system?
And even just the view of chiropractors. I mean, for the longest time, it's just like, oh, well, I have a back issue. Let me go see a chiropractor.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
I mean, you can treat a lot of different
Definitely.
things. So.
Yeah, you're so right. The term nervous system is, I think there's lots of practitioners that are honing in on that term, but a lot of their recommendations are like, well, I mean, if somebody doesn't know what their nervous system is, they're going to take these referrals or they're going to take these supplements or take these classes thinking like, oh, my nervous system. Your nervous system is your brain, your spinal cord, and the nerves that travel out from your spinal cord. It's a physical, tangible thing. So your nervous system can be down-regulated. It can be calmed from moving your body, from getting chiropractic adjustments, from dancing, from stretching, versus there's lots of kind of like trigger words right now of your nervous system is because you're nervous. It's like, no, this is it's an organ. It's like the most important organ in your body. You can actually touch it and you can either overstimulate it or calm it in a various ways, but the fastest way to calm down your nervous system is to get adjusted.
So it's like people saying, I'm taking care of my skin. It's literally a physical, tangible. We're not just saying that it's a behavior so much as there's, the chiropractic side of it is working the actual physical elements of the nervous system.
Exactly.
Basically, instead of just a mindset. So when you do the are we releasing that pressure then on those specific nerves?
Right.
I'm speaking in complete ignorance.
That's perfect.
But is that what's happening where something's being pinched?
Right.
Now it's triggering, and when you're releasing that, is that what it does?
Yeah, you sound like a pro. That's
Okay.
exactly
There you go.
right.
Yeah.
I should be a
There you
chiropractor
go.
now.
You can go to chiropractic
There we
school.
go.
Oh my
She'll
gosh.
probably do it. Yeah.
I should probably
Exactly.
People have pain, from joints being compressed or bones being compressed, and what that compression does is it squeezes on the nerve. And so when the nerve is being irritated or pinched, or if a disc is herniated, squeezing on the nerve, then wherever that nerve travels to is not going to operate properly. It's not going to heal properly. So getting adjusted takes that pressure off of the nerve, takes almost like a decompression of your entire spine, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be like a injured person to benefit from chiropractic. Even though I know a lot of my patients find me because of different pain, and it's my job to always tell them, hey, I'll help you get rid of your pain. I can do that pretty quickly, but let's take care of your actual nervous system so that you can function properly.
Ultimately, what's the optimum maintenance on it? Once a week, twice a week, once a month, or it depends on how much pain you're in?
Right, good question. Everybody's so different. Initially, it's always better to see somebody frequently in the beginning and then taper off. So let's say if you start doing jujitsu, if you do it one time, the next day you're going to be like, oh, my shoulder is so sore, I'm never going to go back. Well, then that shoulder is never going to get any stronger. You're not going to get familiar with those positions ever again. Same with chiropractic. It's like if you get your neck adjusted, the next time you get adjusted, you're going to build off of that first adjustment and the second and the third. In my office, one of the main reasons I structured my pay schedule the way that I do is I want it to be like going to the gym. I want it to be like a part of your lifestyle, a part of your routine. So if you come in once a week, if you come in twice a week, I don't want it to be like, I did this one thing one time and I never saw her again.
Sure, exactly. Plus, I love the endorsement for jiu-jitsu.
Boom.
You do that on a regular basis, so all the students that say they're tired, keep coming in.
Keep coming in. It just means you need to train more. Yeah.
Okay, so when my son wanted to be, I think he should have become a chiropractor because he loves it. But he went into finance. But I think I keep telling him, you really should do it. But he loves he sends me videos all the time of the big, like, and he's like, Mom, I'm like, you're not touching me. Every time he sees me, he's like, let me just, I'm like, go to school, then touch me.
There you go.
Don't do it until you know what you're doing. But what is that? I mean, it seems like that's another trending thing where the more pop, the more their relief. Is that a true thing?
So the sound that you hear from an adjustment, even if you were just to adjust your fingers, it's just gas coming out in between the bones. So as if there's space in the joint, and then when the bones move, a little bit of that space shifts, and so you hear this pop, right? So it's not like your bones cracking when you hear that noise. It's a good sign. And when you hear the noise, it means that your joint is healthy enough to release some space. Versus, let's say, our grandmas or some people who have very degenerated bones, if you don't hear the movement, it doesn't mean the bone's not moving. It just means there's a lot of degeneration in their joint, probably a lot of arthritis. You're not hearing as much of a release, but over time you can definitely gain that mobility and then hear that same pop.
Interesting. Wow. So you enjoy the pop?
It's like a little prize.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Okay,
Every
that's
time.
That's fascinating. Okay, so then I have a question about babies.
Cool.
Do you work on babies?
I do.
Okay, because I had my little girl, my baby was just the projectile, vomiting, whatever.
Right.
Spit up. And always colicky and fussy and crying. And then I had a friend, this was actually out in Temecula, a friend who kind of saw that she was nonstop fussy and said, can I just hold her for a little bit? He's a chiropractor.
Cool.
And I'm like, totally trusted him. Held her, just little bit of a thing. Never had any of the colic again.
Amazing.
Wow.
Never.
So cool.
So he said when she's in the womb, she was like this crunched little spine. And so every time you hold her in a different position, it was actually hurting her because she had been like this. And so, I don't know, I'm maybe pinching something. That was my interpretation. I could be totally wrong. But explain that. Do you work on babies and does that help?
Yes, and your explanations are spot on. This is perfect.
Because
honestly, our bodies are fairly simple. You're right. Let's say, okay, when a baby is born, since they're in the womb, they're in this like C shape. And when they start laying on their stomach, once they've been born, once they start cross-crawling, that's when the curves of your spine start to change. But young babies, they're still in this like little C that looks like a little shrimp, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if the nerves in their upper back, if they're getting compressed and the nerves are going to their throat or to their stomach, then of course they're going to have like an acid reflux, spit up, colic, and they can't tell you. They can't say, hey, I have acid reflux. But it's the same exact nerve that would go to an adult.
That makes
so let's say if somebody eats spicy food and then they have acid reflux later, it's still that same nerve that's going to their throat or to their stomach that's causing the same reaction.
Wow.
So for a baby, honestly, the adjustments are so gentle. It's so sweet.
I didn't even know he really did anything. He was just holding her just like that. Yeah.
Is it a relatively new practice on babies, or because I had never heard of it before?
Not new. Chiropractic is only about 120 years old, so I guess
really?
in the grand scheme of things, it's
Really?
fairly new. Yeah, BJ Palmer was the founder of chiropractic, and he was just around like in, I want to say like 1901 or something.
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
And honestly, babies have the same spine and nervous system. It's just their bones are not fully formed.
Right.
So the adjustment is so gentle because the bone can just shift just like that. So let's say if they're always sleeping in their sleep sack in this like curled up position, it's probably enough to put pressure on their bones. And then now they're irritated and now they're going to start crying.
Wow. So as they grow, I mean, obviously the babies grow and they, their bodies, they go through growth spurts, things like that. I mean, do you work on different stages of the child as well to
Right.
kind of help adjust? Okay.
Definitely, yeah. So one of my favorite families that come in every Monday, they found me because their 6-month-old son, his head was tilted. Because again, when you're being born and your head is getting squeezed out the birth canal, it can put pressure on the baby's neck, it can put pressure on the baby's nerve, and so it's called torticollis, when this muscle is just like in spasm and now the baby can't lift up the head on their own. And just off of a few, I'm gonna say 3 very gentle adjustments on his neck, his head is straight. And he's 10 months
wow.
old now.
Really?
He's about to start, he's crawling, he's about to start walking, he's getting so strong.
Right.
His head is straight, his
That's
head
amazing.
is also like a nice perfect circle. Like a lot of babies, when they have that torticollis, they'll have a flat spot.
Yeah.
And then if they have to end up getting one of those helmets, it's like, that's also
Oh, the weight.
right, affecting their spine because of the weight or affecting the shape of their head, when something very gentle could actually benefit
Wow.
them.
That's really interesting.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you're getting that word out because we don't know that. I mean,
Right.
these things are not taught. I was, my parents always said no neck. And so I was a baby with just super chubby
Yeah.
rolls, but no neck. And my head was always tilted. Who would have known?
You
knew?
needed Dr.
That's my
Lisel.
problem.
Gosh.
That makes sense for everything else now.
Well,
There you go.
plus she has 6 kids. Imagine all 6 kids you had Dr.
If I
Lisel doing
knew,
this. Yeah.
if I knew, I know they'd
Okay.
be amazing kids.
Oh, you know
I'd be
what?
like,
We just got to tell the people now.
we do have to tell people.
That's why I love these
Yeah.
podcasts. I love these groups.
Yeah.
I just like to talk about chiropractic. I mean, initially, the reason I went to a chiropractor when I was like 14 was because I had pain. Like, I didn't know there were any other reasons other than pain to see a chiropractor. But it's like, we could keep this going. We could talk
Sure.
about earaches. We could talk about sleeping. We could talk about constipation. It's like, it's all related
It's
to your
all
spine.
there.
Yeah.
Amazing.
No, absolutely.
That
And then
is so
as far as
fascinating.
you're in Solana Beach, your location,
Yeah.
how's business been? How growing it, getting out there, what have you been doing?
It's been so fun.
Yeah.
So Solana Beach has always been like my go-to like beach town of San Diego. I grew up like 15 minutes away, and honestly, I always imagined like, okay, I'm gonna have some kind of profession where I enjoy to go to work and I have these interactions with people and these connections with people. What's that gonna look like? And now I am an adult and I am a professional and I work in Solana Beach, where I imagined this very integrative type practice, and I feel like I'm just hanging out with people, and I'm also adjusting their spine and helping them, and
So great.
and I get to see them every week. That's the other thing, is like I really can grow these relationships because like I'm gonna see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you next
You
week.
become a member of their family, and it's interesting to see people at the group that talk so highly of you because I think they feel that way, that they have that connection now with you. Beyond just like you said, the bone structure. You're learning their emotions. You're learning what they're dealing with.
Yes, yes.
And so, are you pinpointing then? I mean, you give them what, just a form to fill out on what's going on in your life, and
Right.
then you're able to just know and figure out what nerves are responsible for those emotions. Is that
Right.
how?
So my exam, my consultation, yes, we talk about musculoskeletal issues, and then I show them this chart, which is called the chart of effects, and it shows different symptoms you can have when different bones are subluxated, when different bones are shifted, and then that nerve is getting pinched. So one of the very first bones in your neck, your C1, when it's subluxated, one of the issues is anxiety or dizziness or inability to sleep. And I asked them initially, I'm like, okay, is it tender here? Yes. Do you experience any one of these things? They're like, yeah, all 3 of them. And then we can dive deeper into why they're feeling that way. Is it just I'm stressed at work, or is it something they can't control anymore? And now they're feeling anxious and on these medications or whatever. And I tell them my story too. I want them to know
Yeah.
how personal it was for me, because then they'll share more with me.
Yeah.
Right.
And you think of all these young kids that are getting on anxiety medicine, and I mean they're in they're 12 and 13,
Yeah,
and that's
3
something that
years
they're
old.
going to be.
Oh, absolutely.
No,
That's horrible.
3.
Yes,
They're,
really.
that's what's
Absolutely.
normal. They're a
That's right.
toddler. That's
Right.
like,
Well, that's the problem too, with especially with social media. I mean, you're emotionally it's affecting you, but also everyone's looking down.
Right.
And I'm sure that's
Is
gotta-
that causing problems? for
Definitely.
people?
So
Yeah.
yes, for sure for kids, for sure for adults. But how I was talking about in the womb, your spine is like a C, and then as you grow, it turns into this S. But if you're like a 12-year-old kid, if
just
you're
on
like
the
an
computer.
8-year-old on your computer, like in this C shape,
Wow.
then you're actually like reversing those natural curves you're supposed to have, and it's putting pressure on your spine. It's putting pressure on your nervous system.
Wow.
It's like,
Gosh, that makes so much
Yeah, it does.
sense.
right. Not to mention, like, what are you watching on the internet?
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
that
exactly.
could
How
also
is it
be
affecting
stressful.
you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And triggering those nerves.
Right.
That almost like you said, fight or flight.
Exactly.
Where now we're taking that in, and our nerves are responding to
Right.
what we're watching and receiving.
Definitely. Like, our bodies did not know that there was going to be a business center and a fish restaurant
Sure.
and the 5 freeway. Like, our bodies are ready to run away from animals, go find food somewhere, procreate, sleep. Like, we were not created to be like driving in our Teslas, but that's what we've evolved to.
Yeah.
Right, or just looking at screens
Wow.
Right.
constantly for everything.
Right.
Wow.
Definitely.
So interesting.
That is. I'm definitely going
really-
to see you. I don't sleep. I do jujitsu, and I'm also 70, so body
That's-
hurts.
He's
but-
great for 70.
Yeah. Thank you.
He's not 70. Do you know how many people come to me? I'm not
Because
kidding.
it was on the cake, so that means it's real.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, are you doing educational videos or anything? Tell us about your business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I
okay.
think it's a big thing to link that you're not just a professional doing your art form and your practice and everything that you are gifted to do. You're having to run a full business at the same time. And I find a lot of practitioners struggle with the ability to do both because there's that creative mind, then you're like analytical mind. How are you doing both and succeeding with that?
Right. And okay, as much as I was like talking smack about technology, with technology
Yeah,
is
Gonna
how
have
I'm providing education. I mean, so many people have found me from my Instagram videos.
That's
And
great.
there are waves of where I'm like, I'm posting on Instagram all the time.
sure.
And then sometimes I just get tired and I don't want to put content out. But people find me from these little 30-minute reels or
Good for you.
or
They're really
30-second
entertaining. I
reels.
mean, I always
for you.
comment on your videos because they're hilarious to me.
Thank
yeah.
you, thank you. If I didn't make it in LA as a chiropractor,
Yeah.
I would have been a comedian.
Oh, there you go.
Like, I need to make people laugh. Some of
Right.
these things that we talk about are so heavy. It's like,
Yeah.
how can I get somebody comfortable enough with me to come in and seek help? It's like, maybe I can make them laugh.
Relax them too.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
It's triggering a different part of the nervous
Right.
system. Yeah.
Well, because the thing too is,
good.
especially in the past, I've gone to chiropractors in the past, and it's not that you have a certain image of a chiropractor. You're like, oh, great, I have to go see it, and then you're just waiting, anticipating that crack.
Yeah.
It's not the most comfortable thing, but if I'm, getting to know you, I'm going to be fully relaxed. It's going to get
Trust
me in
you.
the mindset to really kind of accept it.
Right. I want it to be fun. I want people to look forward to these appointments. Like, some of my best friends are dentists, but I'm terrified
Yeah.
of going to the dentist. And I
Right.
see that date on my calendar. I'm like, oh no, I have to
Yeah.
get my teeth cleaned. It's like, I don't want it to be that way. It
Yeah.
should be easy. It should be fun.
Do you do any massage or anything? Sometimes chiropractors mix that, right?
Right.
So,
So
what do you do with that?
definitely. I use something called active release technique. So you don't have to sit for like an hour-long massage to get the muscle to relax. And so it's like moving the muscle in specific movements just for a few strokes to get it to release. And then you get a better adjustment that way.
Oh, okay.
Versus a massage that's like 1 hour long is usually just like a different technique, a different, different style. Also with active release technique, not everybody needs it on every single muscle. So let's say if you have a contraction in your left trap, but your pain is on the right, I want to do this active release technique on the left, but not on the right. Versus sometimes people will be like, wow, that felt so good. I want you to do it on the other side too. And it's like, actually, that's not going to benefit you if you do this technique on an area that doesn't need it. It's just it's gonna be like you still have the problem,
Right.
So if you're like yesterday, and well, can we just go in
I
there?
know, exactly.
Can
I'm
we video in the
kinda-
next room?
Good idea.
But
Camera's not even on. We're just trying to get it pre-adjusted. So.
Perfect.
you get these like scapula pains
Oh,
or
yeah.
things shooting down your arm or
Always.
whatever.
Right.
How quickly I mean, is that something that really does release where you can feel and see a difference that quick?
Right. Good example with the scapula. So I've had at least, I'll say, 20 patients say I have frozen shoulder, which means they can't lift their arm past like 15 degrees, and they'll walk out the door with their arm up in the air.
Oh, wow.
Because
Wow.
not only is the adjustment so beneficial, it's like your body is genius. Your body knows I should be able to raise my arm up, and as long as there's nothing pinching or compressed in that area, it should be able to move. It should be able to heal.
Right. Okay.
So amazing.
Yeah. Well, because I remember a couple nights ago, again, I didn't really sleep, but I woke up, same thing, but I felt like, I don't think it was stress, but I'm sure stress has a lot to do with your back pain and certain pains, but I felt like I slept wrong. Like I slept on my arm and I couldn't move my shoulder, but over time, obviously, but I should have came and saw you. Yeah.
Next time. And I mean, there's always going to be a next time,
Right.
like saying that you slept wrong. I would say like 60% of shoulder, neck, upper back injuries, they just happen when you're sleeping. It's not like you were like jumping out of a plane the day before.
Right.
It was probably just like you slept funny, but it was for, 2 hours that you were in that position.
But I've never thought about that before when you're like, you're in that position, you're sleeping, if you're sleeping on your stomach and your head's like that, and it's a 8-hour position, even just talking right now where my head's turned looking at you and you're like, oh yeah, I was kind of tweaked that way, but for 8 hours of being tweaked, I've never thought about that. Like when you're sleeping for 13 hours.
Okay.
And you're like,
wow, okay.
Oh, I feel so rested, but my neck's a little tight.
Exactly.
And a lot of people are going to bed stressed.
Yeah.
So they're not fully relaxed in this position. And so everything's just like this because we're used to living in this way of constant tension.
Yeah.
So you're going to be a rich woman because there's a lot of people with problems.
I think everybody's going to.
We all need it.
Yeah.
We really do.
Oh, I just got adjusted today. I get adjusted minimum twice a week. And I say minimum for me because I'm adjusting other people, I'm lifting weights, I'm doing Pilates. Yeah. It's like, I sleep funny too.
Sure.
I need adjustments just as much as you guys do.
Absolutely. If you believe in it, you're doing it yourself.
Right, definitely. Yeah, like I drive to my friends' offices. I have one of my girlfriends from Bankers Hill. She's coming to get adjusted today. It's like we got to practice what we preach.
Really good.
Wow.
Yeah. Really good.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of jiu-jitsu people because we always have this thing we call the Darth Vader neck. I can't look this way, and we have to move our entire body to.
Wait, what do you mean?
Our necks don't turn.
Forever?
I don't know. Until we see Dr. Lisel.
We can help.
Yeah.
Your body can heal.
Yeah. So do you stay pretty active as well? I mean, since you're doing this to kind of keep going, I mean, do you still play tennis?
I play tennis with my sister every now and then. I really have gotten into paddle tennis, which is really fun. You can hit the ball way harder.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wait, we're not talking pickleball?
No,
this is
pickleball.
Okay.
Not
Do tennis
pickleball.
players hate pickleballers? Because what's your opinion of pickleball?
Chiropractors love pickleballers because they hurt themselves and then they go seek out chiropractic.
So you love them.
I love them, but
Okay.
it's very sad how a lot of pickleball courts have taken over tennis courts.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
And basketball even, or just in general.
Sure.
Like if you're taking over one sport, then who knows like what little Venus and Serena could have started playing on those free courts, and now you're playing pickleball.
I know. We just lost all our pickleball viewers, which means 90% of America.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But,
Play paddle tennis.
tennis.
So what's the difference? What is
It's
that?
a tennis ball.
Oh,
So,
it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
the fact that it's a tennis ball and it's a smaller court, the ball goes really fast, and you have to be very, very hand-eye coordinated.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that may be a new upgrade then
There
for pickleball.
Exactly.
How often do you play?
Oh gosh, I was playing like 3 times a week in Venice because there was a court there. The court in San Diego is Barnes Tennis Center, which is like off the 8, so I haven't played in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah. That's really great. Okay, you could be in your 20s, are you?
No.
You're not?
No.
I'm like trying to age you right now in my mind. I'm like, I really can't tell.
No, I'm
if you're-
35.
You're 35?
Yeah.
Really?
It's
Doing
the
this
adjustments.
all in your 20s? Because it's
I
amazing.
know, that's true.
It's the adjustments.
It's the adjustments.
It's the sleeping on your back.
It's the sleeping on your back. You know what else though? like when you become a chiropractor, it does change your lifestyle. Yeah, it changes your life. It changes your lifestyle. It's like I drink so much water. I don't eat bread. I don't eat pasta. I work out 3 or 4 times a week. It's like I take my vitamins. I'm very holistic when it comes to my health.
Because of inflammation, you know what causes that.
Right.
And, yeah.
Definitely.
So I've seen that with a lot of chiropractors. Some are very woo, on the woo side.
Right.
And then some are very Western. Where do you fall?
I love that. I am a Libra,
Okay.
October 14.
Yeah.
I am woo and scientific at the same time because there has to be balance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Integrative chiropractor.
Right. I can listen to, the craziest ideas, and some of them are right, and I can listen or I can read something from a textbook that's been tried and true forever. It's like there's something in the middle, or there's something for everyone.
That's amazing because that opens up your patient clientele, really.
Yeah.
Because you can say, if someone's coming in and is very holistic and wants natural everything and believes in all emotion and body, then you know what that consists of. But if someone else is coming in and doesn't really believe in all the other things, you can cater to that. So
Right.
Great.
I have a patient who's a neurologist. So he is a medical doctor and his specialty is neurology, and oftentimes medical doctors either don't know what a chiropractor is or just doesn't like them. And when I sit down with a medical doctor and tell them what I'm looking for, and I'm not trying to, steal any thunder from them, they're like, wow, this actually makes anatomical sense. Sign me up.
Really?
Wow.
That says a lot about you to have a neurologist coming to you.
Exactly.
That really is great.
It was a referral.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's really good. Do you base a lot on referrals?
I would say right now I'm probably like 90% referrals, 10% Instagram.
Really?
That's great.
Which,
That's great.
you got to have
That's
a little
free
bit on
marketing
Instagram.
on both sides.
Absolutely.
That's really good.
What are your kind of goals in the future? Right? To grow the business, to get a bigger place, another room?
Yeah, definitely. Bigger place, more tables so that I can see more than one person in like a 15-minute span, definitely. Chiropractic is an interesting industry in the sense that, let's say if I got sick or if I went on vacation, of course I could bring somebody in here to cover for me, but a lot of people will be like, no, I want to see Dr. Lisel.
Right.
Yeah. What do you do about that? I mean, it really is
She never
all
vacations.
on you.
She works 7 days a week.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, my parents are from the Philippines, and people are like, have you been there? I'm like, no, I've never taken a month off because that's kind of how long you need to go to Asia.
Wow.
But I remember when I asked you guys, okay, what kind of questions should I be prepared for? And you said, oh, what are your fears in business? That is my fear in business, is when I am the business, what happens if I, want a day off or whatever. But my solution to that was I only work 3.5 days, so.
Oh, really?
In general?
Yeah.
You only work 3.5 days?
Right.
Okay.
There you go.
So
She's going back to school.
So we're 35 and we're living partial retirement and succeeding in Solana Beach. I'm really, really impressed.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
you need to feel really good about yourself. That is
Thank you.
amazing.
Tell your son, go to chiropractic
I
school.
know, I really need to.
Well,
because
I mean,
I'm
even
scared.
again, I was mentioning the first time we ever met too. We have spoken before off Instagram, really, and then we met. Your energy and, like you said, your balance. So it's not. I feel like I can talk to you about everything from something technical to something holistic. So I mean, it's good testament.
Thank you.
What
I
you
appreciate
built
that.
and what you have. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you ever feel like you'd want to train other new chiropractors coming in so that you could mentor them, get them in your same mindset, and then build your business that way?
Right, definitely.
In your time.
Yeah, that's probably the best next step for any successful entrepreneur is to find other people that are as hungry as you were and feed them. The school that I went to in LA, it was a great school, but it didn't teach me everything I needed to know about practice. And so every now and then I'll just go on the school's Facebook page and be like, hey, students, contact me. Give me your questions. You need to learn this stuff that.
Good. That is so good.
Yeah.
I do that with real estate because I know what it was like to have the stupid questions and not be able to really get it through the education system of it.
Right.
And so I've done the same thing where I've gathered groups of new agents and and help them with those type of things. 'Cause
Right.
you're like, just let it be a platform for learning.
Yeah.
If you've already been there, why not?
Yeah.
Help the other people coming up, and then that will help you eventually, because some you may connect to that you're going to say, oh, I want you,
Right.
you know,
Right.
or-
Absolutely.
That's the goal.
And I feel like too, when you teach, you get better.
Good point.
Yeah.
It's just natural.
Yeah,
It's just gonna get
absolutely.
better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Very true.
and it shows you're passionate about your industry.
Right.
So
Definitely. And there are all these, seminars and like business coaching things that are specific to chiropractic, but I would say, you have to find your people. And it's like if you don't know where they are, you think like you're this lone wolf. It's like no, you can find somebody and learn with them and grow with them, and it just benefits both of you.
yeah, so great. Wow.
And you're not localized as well. I mean, you said you have patients from all over
Oh, yeah.
San Diego.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're just targeting Solana Beach, right?
Right.
You're all over.
Right. I had a patient come down from Redondo Beach. She was like, I miss
Really?
you. Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, come on, let's hang out. Let's go to the beach.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's again says a lot about you. Good. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
sharing all of this. I feel like I could pick your brain for hours.
Yeah.
I would love to.
Well, we're gonna get a session after this.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
But the question I do have, as far as obviously you came to the group the first time, what
Right.
was your thoughts on the group?
Okay, my initial thought on that first time that I came to the group was like, wow, we're actually talking about something that will apply to everybody in this room. Because let's say if you go to a group and they're talking about, bookkeeping, but you don't actually have any numbers to be kept, it's like, I'm gonna chime out. But the conversation we were having on my first visit there was about ego and what do you do to kind of like not have this big pompous attitude but also have confidence. It's like, okay, everybody in the world should be in on this conversation. I want to continue it. I want to keep talking.
Love that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we need to start. We actually should start recording.
We have a plan.
Zoom.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna get a
Yeah.
mic. If I don't keep dropping the mic, sorry, Naytron.
Because there's so many times where I'm like, wow, so neat
Yeah.
to hear all of the philosophies
Right.
of people within business and what they do behind the scenes.
Right,
There's
right.
so much more to business than the numbers on things. That's why we call this the heart of the matter, because we really, like you, there's passion behind it and there's a purpose behind it, and when you go and you stick to that, boom, the success kind of happens, just naturally follows. So
Thank you.
we like to start with the heart, and you have that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Your little
Appreciate
nervous
it.
system is all
Yeah.
heart based.
Regulated.
It's
Yeah, we just need to work on our.
I know, we got some.
Okay, I know somebody.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, keep coming, and
Cool.
we definitely can use your light and
Absolutely.
energy.
Awesome.
And then what's
I'll
the
be
best
there.
way to reach you?
Okay, best way to reach me, Instagram, if you ever heard of it, Dr._Lisel, and my website is drlisellewis.com.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're in partnership with Coast News Group. So again, if you want to support local, support the newspaper. Again, they have some great articles on local things that are happening. So it's a good source of information. Also, every Friday, 9 a.m. at Market Space. Again, support local. That's what we do. We support each other and try to really get people to kind of get to know each other so that they're going to help each other.
So if you're needing advertisements, if you're wanting to advertise via podcasts like this and tell us a little bit about what you do, we'd be happy to interview you. So reach out to the group SD on Instagram. And thank you, Doctor, for being
Thank you.
here.
Thank
with
you.
us. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah,
So fun.
amazing to talk to you. All right, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.